Hi my friends, this is a new video, and we are on National Highway 8. We have just left National Highway 5, or the Vernacular Road, and we have taken this National Highway here that leads straight to Harrach, to the central part of Harrach. The Smirli Hospital is on the left. It's one of the main hospitals here in Algiers, especially in the eastern parts of Algiers. And now I'm going to show you how to drive to Larbaa, and then from there on to Hussein Dey. Larbaa is a garden, you know, and many people like visiting it in order to go and get some fresh air, or, you know, go jogging and exercising. So there is a neighborhood here on my left known as the Trois, or the Three Cellars. The Three Cellars. So I wonder why it was named like that. And now I'm continuing down National Highway 8. The Harrach River is on my left. So this is the east bank of the Harrach River. There is a neighborhood here on the right. In fact, this is like an industrial area, and there is a neighborhood on my right known as Gurifa. This is the area where I learned how to drive with a driving school. Here in Algeria, in order to get a driver's license, you've got to learn driving rules first. Then you are going to take a test. So you're going to take a test on driving rules. Then, you know, you need to study all the signs, all the signs and the driving rules, and they are going to be interviewed by a driving. They call that a driving engineer here in Algiers. Then you are going to take another test. You're going to study parallel parking. Okay, how to parallel park your car. Then you are going to take a test on that too. You are going to park your car. You need to park it neatly, properly. Okay. Then there is a third test. It's the driving test. So you are going to learn how to drive, and this is where I learned how to drive. Once the driving instructor asked me to drive the car home, because he lived in the same neighborhood as me, so I had to drive it home. I felt like flying, you know. I was really scared of driving a car for the first time, but I also felt excited, you know, kind of honored that he asked me to drive the car home, because, you know, he used to reprimand me a lot, not because I was a bad student, but because he was tough. He was very strict. And but you know, when I drove I drove the driving school car home, I could hardly believe it. You know, when I got out of the car, I felt like I had been flying. You know, that's it. So I guess that this is a mall over there, Centre Commercial. Yes, Marcas Tijari Hamza. Oh, really? Hamza mall. So it has the same name as another mall located in Basjarrah. So now we have another Hamza mall here too, and that's interesting. Maybe it's built and run by the same operator as the one in Basjarrah. And of course, this area here of Harrach is known as Boumadi, and it's developing. You know, it's developing. It has been developing in the last years, and I remember it when it was quite different from what it is now. 20 years ago, in 2002, I used to work in an area not very far from here. It was a video club. In fact, I worked for that video club, a music store and video club, and you know, this area was like, you know, a real suburb, poor suburb, with, you know, this market here. There was this market, and there were multiple other markets, like, you know, flea markets, and it was very unorganized. The area was very unorganized, with pieces of undeveloped land and a lot of dust and dirt, and you know, it was muddy when it rained, and I really hated visiting this area. The area where I worked is known as Belfort, yes, and it's much cleaner than this one, than this area, and it's like a colonial neighborhood with old and new houses, you know, and that area was good, you know, it was much better than this area here, and I didn't work there for a long time, but I still have good memories about my stint there. But now you know, the whole area, all of Algiers, is developing in a very interesting way. That's what I like about it. You see, it has been developing in a very interesting way. We are in April, and they are already selling watermelon, as you can see on that, you know, on that table over there, a stall. Okay, so I guess that I'm going to skip this part of the ride, because it's not going to, of the trip, because I'm stuck in a traffic jam here. I'm sure that it's going to be all the way. This traffic jam is going to slow me down all the way to the central part of Harrach and even beyond. Okay, so I'm going to skip it for a few minutes. There seems to be a breakthrough here, so let's film as long as it's fluid, it's running, even slowly. And Harrach is one of the oldest suburbs here in Algiers. It used to be a town on its own, known as Maison Carrée, or the square house. And now it's becoming one of the most beautiful suburbs with new buildings. Of course, they are not in this very area, but you know, the whole area is developing. And I'm sure that in 10 to 15 years, Algiers is going to become a totally different place. A place that, you know, I mean, I hope, as an Algiers resident, is going to be a good place to live. So you can see the signs over there in the distance. Algiers, you see, on the left, and Harrach, the central part of Harrach. I wish I could take a different shortcut in order to go to this video's destination, but no, we have to drive through you know, a traffic jam in order to go to La Prise d'Eau, to the area of La Prise d'Eau. And what we are going to basically do here in this video is drive from the east bank of Harrach to the west bank of Harrach, go visit that garden, and then, you know, drive to Hussein Dey. I'm going to skip these few minutes of traffic. Okay, so I'm still slowly progressing towards the central part of Harrach, and now I'm facing the west. The sun is setting, and that's why we're going to have the sun right in front of the camera. Nine minutes, and I still haven't reached the city center. And you know, as a big city develops, it has multiple city centers. 20 or 30 years ago, we only used to have one main city center. It was central Algiers, the area extending between Champ de Manœuvre, or May Day Square, and central Algiers, and you know, the Kasbah and Bebloued. Those were the central parts of Algiers. But now, as the city is getting bigger and bigger, we are, you know, witnessing the emergence of other city centers. And by the way, I'm going to film a video about them, you know, the multiple city centers, or the multiple centers of activity, of commercial activity, intense commercial activity here in Algiers. All those places are becoming, you know, business centers here in Algiers. I remember that in 2005, 2006, I had a pen friend from Nicaragua, and she lived in the capital city of Nicaragua, Managua. And when I asked her whether they had a city center there or where it was, she told me that in fact Managua is so big that it has multiple city centers. There isn't just one. And you know, I wondered, how could a city have multiple city centers? Usually we only hear about one city center, you see. But in fact now I'm beginning to understand this. And she explained to me that, you know, those city centers have malls and many stores and office buildings and all, you know, those things that make a place densely active, commercially speaking. So, you know, I really found it hard to grasp that, because back then, it was in 2005, almost 20 years ago, we didn't have that here in Algiers. We only had the central parts of Algiers, as I said, comprising Champ de Manœuvre and city and you know, Algiers Centre, central Algiers, and the Kasbah and Bebloued. Those were the city center, if you will, of Algiers, and the oldest part of the city. But now, you know, new centers are starting to emerge, including Bab Zouar, Dar al-Bida, and Al-Harrach. You know, they are very active. There are new buildings, new hotels, new malls being built around all these places. And you know, even as a resident of Algiers, I'm curious to visit them on weekends, or you know, on you know, even at night. There are restaurants open there. There are, I don't know, multiple things worth visiting. Stores, you know. But now I prefer to visit them only with my wife, because, you know, when you've got kids, you're not going to. Kids usually hate it when, you know, their parents would visit just stores and places like that. They usually prefer parks and gardens. And now, but now I'm planning on doing that, on visiting all those places with my wife, and only take my kids along when we go to a park or a beach. That's it. So we are leaving the central part of Al-Harrach. It's Central Square, and we are going to cross May the 8th bridge, Pont du 8 Mai, in order to go to National Highway 38. Alright guys, so now I'm entering the bridge, and the bridge crosses the Al-Harrach River. So this is the area where I'm going to cross the Harrach River from, you know, from the east bank of this river to the west bank of this river on the other side. And that's where the garden, the La Prise d'Eau garden, is located. So La Prise d'Eau is French for water outlet. Now, too bad I can't capture, I can't film this on my camera. I can see the river here on the right, left. You know, I'm crossing the bridge, and I can see masses of land everywhere, because they are building a walkway, you see, so that visitors would be able to walk on the banks of the river and watch, you know, watch the river, watch the beauty of the river. Of course, the river is still polluted, but they are talking about, you know, in fact, they are cleaning it. They are trying to build, you know, cleaning stations in order to clean the river. Now, if you want to go to Hussein Dey, you take the right. The Harrach train station is on the right too, but we are taking the left and entering National Highway 38. Okay, guys, so this is National Highway 38. We're entering it via this ramp or over. What do you call that? Yeah, it's like a bridge. It's a huge bridge. There is a garden underneath this bridge. It's an interesting garden, but you know, I think that it's closed and it's no longer open to the public. But the garden we are driving to, Larbaa, is open, you know, and still visited by the public. So this is an overpass. So the bridge we have just taken is an overpass, and now you will see when there is no traffic. We have just gotten out of traffic, of a traffic jam, a paralyzing traffic jam. But now, you know, when there is no traffic, you can see how fast you'll drive to any place in just a matter of minutes. Now, this is the turn you've got to take here, the right, in order to go to Larbaa. Now the Harrach River is on my left. Alright, so now let's turn around here and enter this area known as Buruba. Everything on my left is part of Buruba. I guess that we have even left the municipality of Harrach and now we are in the municipality of Buruba. And by the way, Buruba is a neighborhood or suburb lying between Harrach and Algiers. It's a big residential neighborhood. With small to medium-sized houses, old houses, mostly old houses. It used to be an industrial area here, as you can see, as you can tell by, you know, this industrial facility here on the right, maybe a factory. Some of those factories are still active. There are also warehouses around here. So some of those factories and warehouses are still active, whereas others were decommissioned years ago. And you know, now Algiers is because it's developing at a fast pace. It has reached that stage where, you know, as soon as a place is abandoned, as soon as non-developed area is cleared of everything, it's rapidly developed. You know, buildings are sprouting, new buildings, modern buildings are sprouting everywhere here in Algiers, and new hotels, new malls, new office buildings, and Algiers is developing at a fast pace, and also at I mean, in an interesting way, in a truly interesting way. We also have many new parks, many playgrounds, new parks, new playgrounds everywhere. So the road on the left is in fact dead end. It doesn't lead anywhere. It will only lead you to a small residential area. And the road on the right here, we have just taken here, is going to lead you straight to Larbaa. I've already filmed a video on how to drive to this park that's visited by many people. And now we are going to visit it again before we drive to Hussein Dey. So you know, the alley here on the left is part of that walkway on the banks of the Harrach River. So if you want to visit this area, there is a parking lot here on the left. I'm going to film it for you, by the way. It's like a small parking lot, but it can accommodate you know, enough cars. And now I'm going to enter the park and film a little bit inside. Now there is another park on the other side, another parking lot, and you know, it's, you can see the train as it passes. And now this is the park with its palm trees and huge eucalyptus trees. There are a few football fields, and I think that there is also a tennis court here. There are these sheds here with benches for people to sit in the shade, and it's a really interesting place. My kids enjoy it when I bring them here. All right, so we're going to try and find a place where to turn around and be on our way to Hussein Dey. So the road goes further away. No, it's a dead end. Yeah, it's a dead end. There is a prayer room over there. And now Said Mukhtari Street. That's the name of this street. Interesting. And now what we are going to do is drive to Hussein Dey, and now from this point on I'm trying to recreate a trip that I took not long ago. I dropped my wife off. Okay, so the speed limit here is 10 kilometers per hour. This is the first time I've ever seen a sign like this here in Algiers. I remember, yes, there was a similar sign, speed limit sign in a base camp in the south, in Amenas, in the area of Amenas, where I worked for a Chinese company, a Chinese oil company, and yeah, we had a sign with the speed limit of 10 kilometers per hour inside, you know, in the perimeter of the base camp, because there were lots of people walking around, and you could, you know, easily run over a person. So here too, there are kids around. There are, you know, just look at that little kid over there playing with his scooter. Such a beautiful kid. God bless. That's what we say when we see a kid. You know, in Algeria's languages, you know, Arabic and Berber. So we say God bless, Allah Barak. And well, we have just left the area of the park. As you can see, there are parking lots here where you can park your car. And now the Harrach river is on the right. Okay, so as you can see, the river has changed a little bit. So there are those embankments, and they are going, I think, to continue developing those. To continue developing the walkways on the sides of the river in order to make it a navigable waterway, and also you know, the walkways are for the people, for visitors to come and visit the river. So this area is going to become a very beautiful, I mean, no doubt it's going to become a very beautiful area to visit, you know. So what I'm trying to do here right now is recreate a trip that I made 5 or 6 days ago. I dropped off my wife in Hussein Dey. Then you know, she needed to go clothes shopping there, and then I brought my youngest kid here in order to play here in this park, and then she called me shortly after, told me whether I could come pick her up as soon as possible, and this is the trip that I took. I tried to drive there. She asked me, how long will it take you to drive here? I told her about 20 minutes. So now I'm going to check whether, okay, last time it took me more than 20 minutes in order to drive there, but now I'm going to try and drive in 20 minutes just to verify whether it's possible to drive from this very place to Hussein Dey in just 20 minutes. I think that I made it in a little bit over 20 minutes. It was, I think, 25 minutes or something. She didn't have to wait for a long time, but you know, the fact that I couldn't make it in 20 minutes sharp kind of bugged me, you know. And what I'm going to do now is take this road here. It goes in a very straight line, and it crosses the area of Larbaa from east to west. So this is where the straight line starts, and this road is going to lead us straight to the part of Harrach known as Tunis, you know. And now we are in Larbaa. This road here is characterized by the presence of many speed bumps, because it's a densely populated area. It's a residential area, and it's also densely populated. And there is an area, a very commercially active area straight ahead. It looks like a market. And that's the area where I'm expected to find some congestion. There is a mosque here on the right. I've been on the road for 3 minutes now. I mean, from the area of the park, of course. The sun is setting. It's getting a little bit dark. I hope that I'll be able to finish this video before it completely sets. And this is the commercially active area I told you about earlier. It looks like a market. I guess that there is a market. Yeah, there is a vegetable market somewhere here. I think that it's on the left. And you know, there are many stores in the area of the market, because the market attracts a lot of people, a lot of customers, and you know, these stores are all present here around the market and around the market area in order to attract those people visiting the market. All right, so now be careful here. And this is where I expected some congestion. Yes. Now I've been on the road for 5 minutes, and I still have 15 minutes in order to make it to Hussein Dey in 20 minutes, and I hope that I will. Last time, in order to avoid traffic, I drove via Wadu Shaykh, and this is the building on the right, the glass building on the right, or the building with the glass facade on the right is the city hall. It's the city hall of Larbaa, and that's the market over there on the left. Bicycle, where you can see that bicycle sign on the left. In fact, it's a pizza parlor, or in fact, it's a pizza shop, a takeaway pizza shop. And there is a cemetery here. And the cemetery is next to that fruit and vegetable market. It's not a very big cemetery by Algiers standards, you know. It is big, but not very big in comparison to the city and its population. Now I have 14 minutes left. There is a mall over there, the Taiba Mall, and it's in Bas Jarrah. Now we have just entered the area of Bas Jarrah and the Bas Jarrah Road. There is a stop sign here. Now I'm going to take the left. I'm driving onto the Bas Jarrah Road, one of the main roads here in Algiers, which is in fact, I mean, this very road is just a section of National Highway 63. Now I'm going to continue driving down Bas Jarrah Road, which links this area known as Tinis to Hussein Dey. So if everything goes well, this road is going to take me straight to Hussein Dey. There is a bus station here on the left. Now there are no buses because it's too late in the afternoon. Buses stop early here. This is one of the bad things about Algiers, you know, about public transport here in Algiers. In fact, buses should run until you know, late at night. There are people traveling even, around the city even at night. That's a private bus station. And now I am arriving at the bottleneck that's going to make me waste time and even prevent me from reaching Hussein Dey in 20 minutes. And it's this area known as Lotissement or Hay al-Badr, which literally translates as moonlight neighborhood. Yes, Hay means neighborhood and Badr means moonlight. So this is Hay al-Badr, or moonlight neighborhood. It has such a beautiful name, but you know, I hate this very place here, this very section of Bas Jarrah Road, because of its chronic traffic. And of course, when you are stuck in traffic like this, paralyzed in traffic like this, there is nothing to film. That's why I've got to skip filming this part. It makes these traffic jams worse. in an area like this are all those cars that are double parked. Just look at those cars, you know. Cars are double parked and are illegally parked, and you know, this slows down traffic even more. But now it seems that there is a breakthrough. That's why we've got to continue driving down this area, down this road. Try to make it in Hussein Dey in 20 minutes or less than that. Now I've been driving for 10 minutes, you know, from the park, and if you want to go to Larbaa, you take the left. Larbaa and Guide Constantine, you take the left. But we are going to Hussein Dey, therefore we're going to continue driving straight on. Great! Now there is a real breakthrough. But last time, when I went to pick my wife up, I avoided this area, of course, because this area, I mean, traffic jams in this area are even worse during the day. Now it's just, you know, I managed to drive through this area in less than 5 minutes, because it's the late afternoon. It's very late in the afternoon. A subway station here. It's the Hayat Bottom subway station, one of the main subway stations here in Algiers. And as you can see, there are these new buildings here. You can see buildings like these everywhere here in Algiers. As the city is continuing to develop, it's continuing to become more and more beautiful, and also more and more economically significant. Now we have reached the area of Hussein Dey known as City Maya. This area lies between Hussein Dey and Al-Maqariyah, which is on my right, and Kuba. Kuba is on my left. So Hussein Dey is straight ahead, Kuba is on the left, and Al-Maqariyah is on the right. Al-Maqariyah, formerly known as Livy. This area here, City Maya, is known for its mini marts. You know, there are 2 or 3 mini marts here. Around here, there is also a bakery. All right, so there is a street here on the left known as Hassan al-Basri. If you want to go to Al-Maqariyah, you take the right. Al-Maqariyah is a residential and popular neighborhood. And now I'm going to enter Hussein Dey. So I'm reaching the end of Jarrah Road, and I'm going to drive onto Bujma al-Mughni, my entrance to Hussein Dey. Now we've just entered the area of Hussein Dey. Yes, and I've managed to make it in less than 15 minutes, in fact. This is the Parnay Hospital, the Nafisa Hamoud Hospital, the main hospital here in Hussein Dey. And now I'm driving down Bujamaa Mori Street. Which is one of the main roads of Hussein Dey. You are going to drive the whole way to, I mean all the way to the central part of this neighborhood. This is the place where I picked my wife up from. So if we were to recreate that, my wife and I would have picked her up. I would have arrived in less than 20 minutes. I started driving here 15 minutes ago. I set off from the park 15 minutes ago, so mission accomplished. And as I told you multiple times, so long as there are no traffic jams, driving here in Algiers is real fun. It is real fun, you know. Bujamaa Mori, one of the main streets of Hussein Dey, along with Tripoli Street, which is on my right, and Ferdinand Hanafi Street, which is on my left. So the three main streets run in parallel in an east to west direction. And I've already filmed a video about that, about all these three streets. There used to be a music store here on the right. It was one of my favorite music stores here in Algiers back in the 1990s. So we are approaching the central part of Hussein Dey, where the main post office is located. There is a cultural center here on the right, Isam Saudi Cultural Center. People crossing the street. Alright guys, so this is the area where we are going to end our video. I hope that you liked it and found it useful. If you did, please give it a thumbs up and don't forget to subscribe and hit the notifications button in order to receive notifications on my future videos. Drive safely, visit Algeria and visit Algiers in particular. Take care of yourselves and goodbye.